You know, it's wild to think about, but the smartest AI on the planet right now, like systems that can literally write symphonies, debug complex software, or, pass the bar exam, they might actually be completely ignoring your brand.
Yeah, entirely ignoring it. And usually it's all because of like a single missing line of code.
Right. I mean, you launch this brilliantly researched project out into the digital universe where you build a great product page and then you just get absolutely zero traffic.
It's really the ultimate modern frustration. You publish this definitive guide and you are effectively invisible. We're living in an era where visibility is dictated by this invisible architecture. And if you don't speak that specific, highly structured language, you literally don't exist to the machines controlling the distribution.
Exactly. So the mission of this deep dive today is to explore that invisible architecture, how it dictates what you see, what you don't see, and how you can actually control it.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
It really is. And we're going to unpack this by looking at a promotional launch document for a new software platform called SEO Pilot. They're tackling this exact structural crisis.
Yeah.
And the core premise here is just fascinating. The problem isn't your content. It's not your writing. It's these hidden technical saboteurs like missing tags, broken hierarchies that act as invisible walls blocking traditional search engines and the new AI bots.
Well, we really have to completely separate the human web from the machine web,
Mm.
right? Because most of us, we evaluate a digital property based on the visual medium. We scroll, we look at the typography, the UI, and we just assume that because it makes sense to our human eyes, it makes sense to the internet.
Right, like, oh, this hero image looks great, so Google must love it.
Exactly, but a search engine crawler is operating in a fundamentally different reality. It doesn't see your beautiful hero image, it parses the underlying the document object model,
Yeah.
and if that structure is fractured, the crawler simply bounces, it's gone.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we look at the proposed solution, we really need to understand the scale of the problem here. According to the launch data, the average site has over 200 hidden issues hiding in plain sight.
200, yeah.
Right. Spread across like more than 35 different technical checks per page. We're talking missing canonical tags, thin content, broken internal links, schema markup errors. They even highlighted this one specific case study in the text, a site with genuinely great content, but it had 1,092 hidden ranking killing issues.
Over 1,000 issues on a single site. And, to the owner, that site probably looked absolutely flawless on their monitor.
So think of your website like a world-class restaurant.
Right.
The food, which is your content, is amazing, best in the city. But the front door is completely bricked over those are your broken canonicals, and the menu is written in invisible ink because you're missing schema markup. No one is coming inside.
That's a perfect way to look at it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it represents a massive historical blind spot in our industry. For the last decade, so much traditional SEO focus has been on, keyword density and content velocity.
Oh, yeah, like stuffing the exact phrase into a paragraph 3 times.
Exactly. People hyper-fixated on those long-tail phrases, but completely neglected the foundational structural health that allows a crawler to even index that copy in the first place.
Which brings us to the really immediate, urgent shift happening across the landscape right now. We are moving from traditional Google crawling to the AI search revolution.
Yeah, the 2026 landscape is completely different.
It is. We're talking about ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, Google AI overviews. They are answering questions directly in the chat, and they are actively choosing which brands to recommend by name. And the rules have changed. It's no longer just ranking links. You have to become the cited brand.
And the criteria for becoming that cited brand, it relies entirely on pristine technical structure, clean SEO, proper schema, clear heading structures. If your data is messy, the AI simply bypasses your content entirely. It just skips it, no matter how profoundly insightful your actual writing is.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on this a little bit on behalf of the listener here, because it sounds so counterintuitive. We're talking about these incredibly smart AIs that can write poetry, pass the bar exam, and debug Python, right? Are you really telling me they get tripped up and ignore my site just because a canonical tag is missing?
I know, it sounds ridiculous.
Right? If the AI is so intelligent, why can't it just look at the messy HTML and figure it out?
It's a really valid pushback, but it highlights the difference between a model's theoretical capability and the actual brutal economics of web crawling at scale.
Oh.
Yes, an advanced LLM is smart enough to read a messy DOM and deduce what you mean. The problem is computational cost.
Cost, like
Yes.
server resources.
Exactly. The AI models aren't actually crawling your site in real time when a user asks a question. They rely on massive crawler bots to feed structured data into their indexes constantly. And crawlers operate under intense resource constraints.
So they have to be efficient.
Highly efficient.
Yeah.
They process billions of pages, so they prioritize the path of least resistance. Bad structure means low confidence and high processing cost. If an AI engine hits your site and has to spend, say, extra milliseconds untangling a broken H1 and H2 hierarchy just to figure out what your article is about, it assigns a low confidence score to your data.
Wow, just because of milliseconds.
Yep. It will immediately drop your site and move to a competitor who has flawless JSON LD schema markup. Because that competitor's data is instantly machine-readable, it's computationally cheap to parse, and therefore it's inherently more trustworthy to the system.
Okay, so it's not an intelligence problem, it's an economics problem.
Yeah.
They just don't have the time to figure out your messy code. And this severe consequence, being entirely erased from AI citations, is the exact friction point that SEO Pilot is claiming to solve.
Right. And they're trying to solve it without requiring you to have a degree in computer science.
Yeah, and the story of how this started is pretty funny. The creator, Alex Krulik, had this breakthrough moment after spending 4 hours one afternoon manually copy-pasting canonical tags across, like, 60 different web pages.
Oh, that is brutal.
Just mindless copy-pasting. And he realized if a diagnostic tool is smart enough to find all these hidden problems, it should naturally possess the logic to actually write the patch and fix them.
Which has always been the perpetual bottleneck in technical SEO, generating a massive spreadsheet of 400 scary errors. That's the easy part.
Yeah, the hard part is spending your weekend fixing them.
Exactly. The actual manual deployment of the corrected code to the server is what stops people.
So SEO Pilot claims to run this 35-plus point check across 15 categories, finding all these issues, but then, and this is the breakthrough, they provide a one-click bulk auto fix for over 13 different issue types.
Right, so instead of spending 4 hours fixing canonicals, you just hit a button.
Yeah. It works in 3 steps. You connect the site, it pulls your Google Search Console data, it finds the issues, and then you auto-fix in bulk, like fixing 50 pages with one button. And it's compatible with a lot. They have a WordPress plugin that pushes the fixes live automatically, or a JS snippet for closed ecosystems like Shopify and Wix.
They also explicitly utilize a headless browser to render JavaScript-heavy sites, which is huge, like sites built on React or Vue.
Why is this so important?
Well, traditional crawlers just request the raw HTML, but if you build a site with React, the server often just sends back an empty HTML shell.
So to a normal bot, it just looks blank.
Exactly. It's just a shell and a massive JavaScript file. A headless browser operates like Chrome, but without the graphical interface. It downloads the shell, actually executes the JavaScript, waits for the text to render in the DOM, and then takes a snapshot to analyze. Without that rendering phase, any audit of a modern dynamic site is completely useless.
Wow. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. And this is a very loud, explicit claim in their launch document. They state that this auto-fix feature relies entirely on deterministic rule-based logic. They are actively bragging that they do not use AI to fix the code.
Yeah, which is a massive differentiator right now. I mean, every new product on the market is frantically slapping AI powered onto their dashboard.
Right, AI fixes your site.
But choosing to market the absence of generative AI for code injection is actually the only responsible way to handle site architecture.
Why is that? Like, why wouldn't I want a really smart LLM writing my technical SEO fixes?
Because generative AI, by its very nature, is probabilistic. It guesses. It calculates the statistical probability of the next word or token based on its training data. And while that's phenomenal for writing blog posts, you absolutely do not want a probabilistic machine hallucinating the structural architecture of your website's DOM.
Yeah, if an AI hallucinates a blog intro, you get a weird sentence. But if it hallucinates a site-wide canonical tag,
you can inadvertently de-index your entire domain from global search overnight. It is catastrophic. Deterministic logic, on the other hand, operates on strict Boolean rules, like if the viewport tag is missing, insert this exact predefined viewport string. There's no guessing. It's vastly superior and safer for site architecture.
And they do have a safety net built in, right? Every fix is logged and reversible with one click, just in case something conflicts. But none of this matters if you can't afford the tool.
Yeah.
So we logically have to pivot to their market positioning because it's very aggressive.
Oh, it's totally a David versus Goliath situation.
Absolutely. The source directly contrasts SEO Pilot with these massive industry giants. You have Screening Frog at $259 a year. You have Ahrefs at $99 a month. SEMrush at $139 a month. And the core argument they make is that those expensive tools only show you the scary errors. They leave you to spend hours fixing them.
Which essentially means traditional enterprise tools have priced out bloggers and small e-commerce stores. Maintaining pristine technical SEO has been a luxury.
Yeah, so SEO Pilot comes in with this launch special pricing. They're offering lifetime access for a one-time fee. It's $27 for the basic license, or $37 for the pro license, which covers 5 sites, give you priority queuing, and even includes commercial rights for freelancers and agencies.
A one-time $37 fee compared to, what, over $1,000 a year for the enterprise stuff?
Exactly. Now, I will point out, there are definitely high-pressure sales tactics in this text. You know, the classic going to monthly subscriptions after launch, warning, the ticking clock vibe, the whole cost of doing nothing argument.
Oh, yeah. Competitors will steal your Google traffic and trap you in ad spend.
Right. But beneath all that marketing, a $27 one-time fee with a 30-day, no questions asked guarantee. I mean, that is an incredibly low-friction offer for freelancers and small business owners.
It's an attempt to commoditize the technical foundation of the web. They're basically saying that having a structurally sound, machine-readable website shouldn't be locked behind an expensive sauce paywall.
So to understand if this tool can actually deliver on these massive promises, we have to look at the creator's pedigree and the broader SEO ecosystem. Because Alex Krulik is not a newcomer.
No, not at all. He's a software developer and an SEO expert with a really proven track record. The document mentions over 20,000 customers and $5 million in software sales.
Yeah, and he previously created tools like Magic Submitter and RankSnap AI, which the text describes as legendary tools that dominated off-page SEO.
Right. Off-page SEO is all about backlinks, social signals, directory citations. It's proving to the algorithm that the rest of the internet considers you authoritative.
But the realization that drove SEO Pilot was that his customers had these incredibly strong backlink profiles from his older tools, but a completely messy on-page structure. So SEO Pilot was built to handle the on-page half of the equation.
Creating a complete harmonious strategy.
So what does this all mean for the listener? Let's use an analogy of a car. Off-page SEO, your backlinks to the gasoline. But on-page SEO, the stuff SEO Pilot fixes, that is the engine. You can pour all the high-octane gas you want into a car, but if the engine is sitting in pieces on the garage floor, you aren't moving an inch.
What's fascinating here is how this perfectly reflects the maturation of search algorithms. 15 years ago, you could get away with a broken engine if you just flooded the system with enough off-page fuel. You could brute force your ranking.
Just spamming backlinks.
Exactly. But today, the machine readability of your actual content is an equal partner in the equation. The fuel and the engine have to exist together.
Which really synthesizes our entire journey today. We've explored how hidden technical errors act as this invisible wall between your great content and the outside world. We've seen how AI search engines rely on perfectly structured data to decide who to cite. And we looked at how SEO Pilot proposes to tear down those walls with automated, rule-based fixes for just a flat fee.
It's a fundamental shift in how we approach web architecture.
It really is.
Yeah.
So for you listening right now, consider your own digital projects. Are your best ideas currently locked behind a wall of broken canonical tags or missing schema markup? It might be time to check the structural foundation of your digital house.
And, that leaves us with a really compelling philosophical question to ponder, something that wasn't directly in the text. But if tools like SEO Pilot actually succeed in democratizing perfect technical SEO...
Like if everyone suddenly has a flawless AI-readable site.
Right. If every website on the internet has perfect structure, what becomes the next great differentiator? Will the internet finally become a pure meritocracy of ideas, where the best content actually wins? Or will the algorithm simply shift the game to a completely new set of invisible rules?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is a heavy thought to leave off on. A meritocracy of ideas sounds great, but who knows what the algorithms will do next? Until then, make sure your digital house is in order, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.